Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Wednesday, June 16th, 2021, coming to you from beautiful Aruba yet again. Today we will go over the results from Monday and yesterday's Stanley Cup, NBA playoff, Major League Baseball, and WNBA, and looking ahead to today and tomorrow's action. We will make a pick for the U.S. Open. We will go over the latest news and notes with something just breaking right now, which we'll save for that. And my best bet of the day. All right, we will do Stanley Cup playoffs first. We will go over the results between Monday and yesterday and look ahead to tomorrow and Thursday. All right, Monday night. The Vegas Golden Knights over the Montreal Canadiens by a score of 4-1 as Vegas takes a 1-0 series lead. And then last night, the Lightning defeat the Islanders by a score of 4-2 to even up that best of 7 at one game apiece. All right. And then tonight, 9 o'clock, NBCSN, you have the Canadiens and the Golden Knights. And by the way, for the NBA, I apologize again. I didn't do the projections and everything. I will probably return to that next week. Obviously. So Vegas is minus 245 tonight. Montreal's plus 205. Over under 5.5. Overs plus 120. Unders minus 148. Montreal plus 1.5 is minus 132. Vegas minus 1.5 is plus 112. I gotta do Vegas puck line again. No, I don't see it going over. I think Carey Price may keep Montreal somewhat in the game at times. And Montreal just doesn't score. Vegas puck line is the way to go. So Vegas minus 1.5 plus 112 is my pick there. And then Thursday, 8 o'clock on USA, Game 3, Lightning Islanders from the barn, Nassau Coliseum. The Lightning are minus 137. The Islanders are plus 119. Over under 5.5. Overs plus 114. Unders minus 137. Lightning minus 1.5 is plus 185. Islanders plus 1.5 is minus 230. I like how the Lightning played the other day. I'm going to continue with it. I'm going plus 120 in regulation with the Lightning for tomorrow night. All right, now we'll do NBA. We will go over Monday and yesterday's results and look ahead to today and Thursday. So Monday, Hawks over the 76ers, 103-100, even up the series at 2 apiece. Trae Young, 25 points and 18 assists. Tobias Harris had 20 for Philly. Clippers over the Jazz, 118-104, even up the series at 2 apiece. Paul George, 31 points, 9 boards, 4 assists. Fabulous game for Paul George. Donovan Mitchell, 37 points and 5 assists. Tuesday, Nets over the Bucks, 114-108. It took a masterful game by Kevin Durant for Brooklyn to win this without Kyrie Irving. James Harden came back, was terrible, but Kevin Durant single-handedly won this game for the Brooklyn Nets. And if he didn't play all 48 minutes, they lose, and Milwaukee's up 3-2 and not Brooklyn. Durant, 49 points, 17 boards, 10 assists. He was fabulous. This is probably the best I've seen him play as a net. And Giannis, 34 points, 12 boards. He was very good as well, but Kevin Durant was just unstoppable. Tonight, 2 games, 7:30 TNT. You have the Hawks and the 76ers. A big-time Game 5. Philly's favored by 6.5. Total is 223.5. Tough one here. I'm going to go with the over. I think there's going to be a lot of points. I think that both teams will play a little bit better offensively. So I'm going to go over 223.5. I could see this being like a 115, 110 type of game. And then Clippers Jazz tonight, Game 5, 10 o'clock TNT. Utah's favorite, 2.5, total 222. I'm taking the Clippers in the 2.5. I think the Clippers win outright. I think they win the series in 6. Not saying the series is over. I do think the Jazz can still win the series, but I just think the Clippers are better and they have the best player in the series in Kawhi. So give me the plus 2.5 at -109 and plus 117 straight up, as the Clippers will get the big road playoff victory. And then Thursday, 8:30 ESPN, Nets Bucks, Game 6. From Milwaukee. Milwaukee's favorite 3.5, total 220.5. I doubt Kyrie Irving will play. I really think they, as in the Bucks, are under immense pressure to win this game. And I think they will, but I don't know if they will cover. So I'm going to go over 220.5 for my pick for Nets Bucks. All right, now I'm going to do Major League Baseball. I'm going to go over the results from Monday and yesterday and look ahead to Wednesday and Thursday. So Monday, Mets over the Cubs 5-2, Nats over the Pirates 3-2, Indians over the Orioles 4-3, Red Sox over the Blue Jays 2-1, Reds over the Brewers 10-2, Tigers over the Royals 10-3, Rays over the White Sox 5-2, Cardinals over the Marlins 4-2, Rockies over the Padres 3-2, A's over the Angels 8-5, Giants over the Diamondbacks 5-2, Mariners over the Twins 4-3, and the Dodgers over the Phillies 3-1. Yesterday, Cubs lose again to the Mets 3-2. Mets 34-25, Cubs 38-29. Nationals over the Pirates 8-1. Washington 29-35, Pittsburgh 23-43. Yankees over the Blue Jays 6-5. That was a much needed win for New York. 34-32. Toronto 33-32. So Yankees come back from 3 down the win at Buffalo against the Blue Jays. So that's a big win for the Yankees, who really need to get their season turned around, and their manager is certainly one that's in trouble. Indians over the Orioles 7-2. The Indians are 36-28. Baltimore 22-44. Red Sox over the Braves 10-8. Red Sox 41-27. Atlanta 30-34. Reds over the Brewers 2-1 and 10. Reds 34-31. Milwaukee 38-29. Tigers over the Royals 4-3. The Tigers 28-39. KC 30-36. White Sox over the Rays 3-0. A big win for Chicago 42-25. Rays are 43-25. Two of the best teams in the American League right there. Astros over the Rangers 6-3 and 10 on a walk-off homer by Jose Altuve. Houston's 38-28. Texas is 25-42. Cardinals over the Marlins 2-1. The Cardinals 34-33. Miami 29-38. Rockies over the Padres 8-4. Colorado 27-41. San Diego 38-31. San Diego's been somewhat inconsistent. A's over the Angels 6-4. Oakland 42-27. Wow, what a turnaround from them. Didn't they start like 0-7 or something like that? And the Angels 33-34. Giants over the Diamondbacks 9-8. The Giants are 42-25. Arizona 20-48. Mariners over the Twins 10-0. The Mariners 34-35. Minnesota 26-41. By the way, the Diamondbacks is 21 straight road losses. I was just going to say for the D-backs, didn't they lose like an insane amount of road games in a row? Holy crap, that team is terrible. And the Dodgers over the Phillies 5-3. Dodgers 41-26. Philly 32-33. All right, today's window 1:15. Marlins Cardinals 2:10. Reds Brewers, Tigers Royals, Rays White Sox 3 o'clock, Padres Rockies 3:30, Angels A's. I'm not going to do the gambling stuff for baseball because I don't have time. 4 o'clock Pirates Nationals, 7 o'clock ESPN Red Sox Braves. Good game for ESPN. So it's 3 baseball games in a row for ESPN. Yanks Blue Jays, Orioles Indians, Cubs Mets, 8 o'clock Rangers Astros, 9:45 Diamondbacks Giants. 10 o'clock Twins, Mariners, and Phillies, Dodgers. And then Thursday, 1 o'clock, Orioles, Indians. 3:45, Diamondbacks, Giants. 7 o'clock, Yankees, Blue Jays, Cubs, Mets. 7:20, Cards, Braves. 8 o'clock, White Sox, Astros. 8:30, Reds, Padres, Brewers, Rockies. 9:30, Tigers, Angels. And 10 o'clock, the Rays and the Mariners. All right, now we'll go over the WNBA results from yesterday, and we will look ahead to tomorrow and Thursday. Aces over the Liberty, 100-78. Aces 9-3, Liberty 6-5. Storm over the Fever, 87-70. Seattle 11-2, Indiana 1-12. Sky over the Lynx, 105-89. Chicago 5-7, Minnesota 4-6. And tonight, 10:30 on Prime Video, Mercury Sparks. It's a Commissioner's Cup game. Both these teams are not performing up to par so far. And then Thursday, monster window, Thursday night in the W. 7 o'clock, Storm Fever. Commissioner's Cup game between the Dream and the Mystics. 8 o'clock on Twitter, Commissioner's Cup game between the Sun and the Sky. CBS Sports Network Commissioner's Cup game, the Lynx and the Wings. And then 10 o'clock on CBS Sports Network, you have the Liberty and the Aces. So, Bill Laimbeer against his former team in that one. All right, now we will make a pick for the U.S. Open, which begins tomorrow. I'm going to do the odds courtesy of DraftKings, like I've been doing this whole week. John Rahm's a plus 1050 favorite. At 15-1, Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, Xander Schauffele. 19-1, Brooks Koepka, Jordan Spieth. 21-1, Rory McIlroy. 22-1, Patrick Cantlay, Tony Finau. 22.50, Dustin Thomas. 25-1, Victor Hovland, Patrick Reed. 25.50, Colin Morikawa. 35-1, Scotty Scheffler. 40-1, Tyrrell Hatton, Louis Olson. 45-1, Abraham Answer, Paul Casey, Shane Lowry. 46.50, Hideki Matsuyama, Will Zalatoris. 50-1, Matt Fitzpatrick, Webb Simpson. 55-1, Daniel Berger, Harry English, Jason Kokrak, Phil Mickelson. 60-1, Cam Smith. 66-1, Justin Rose. 70-1, Adam Scott, Gary Woodland. 75-1, Corey Connors, Garrick Higo, Joaquin Neiman. 80-1, Mark Leishman. 85-1, Tommy Fleetwood, Charlie Hoffman. And now I'm just going to go through notables on here. 100-1, Brian Harman, Max Homa, Billy Horschel. Sergio Garcia is 110-1. Ian Poulter's 110-1. Son James 110-1. Matt Wallace 110-1. Christian Ziedenhout 140-1. Stuart Sink 140-1. Brendan Todd and Brendan Grace are both 141. So is Jonathan Vegas and Bubba Watson. Ryan Palmer, Siwoo Kim, Lee Westwood, Eric Van Rooyen, all 160-1. Adam Hadwin's 200-1. Matt Jones 225-1. Patrick Rogers 225-1. Kevin Kisner's 300-1. Cam Champs 300-1. Kevin Nas 300-1. Brendan Steele 300-1. Bo Hoag 400-1. Zach Johnson's 400-1. Rafa Cabrera Bello 400-1. Victor Perez 400-1. Wyndham Clark is 450-1. Mackenzie Hughes is 600-1. So a lot of these numbers are wild. So, for my outright pick for the 2021 U.S. Open is going to be, let's go with, this is a tough one. Daniel Berger at 55-1 I think is ludicrous. Let's go with Daniel Berger 55-1 to win the 2021 U.S. Open. All right, now we'll do news and notes. There's breaking news coming down just now that Chris Paul has entered the COVID-19 health and safety protocols. That is huge. Huge. He is out indefinitely. The Suns are just lucky that the series with Denver was a sweep. They need Clippers Jazz to go 7. They need that now more than ever. Ever. If he's out for a significant time of the series, they are done. Donzo. Done. And I feel sorry for the Suns because this team, and especially Chris Paul, well, Chris Paul's another story, but this franchise has had bad luck for so long in the Steve Nash era. They were a joke for a decade. Then they get lucky and get Devin Booker as a steal in the draft. They get lucky in the lottery and get DeAndre Ayton. They get a steal of a draft pick in Mikal Bridges. They acquired Chris Paul for nothing. And here we are. They're in the Western Conference Finals, and now Chris Paul has COVID, potentially. That is just so much bad luck. And then on the Chris Paul side of it, he's had bad luck pretty much his entire career. He gets injured, and the Rockets are up 3-2 a couple years ago. And then, obviously, the Warriors come back from 3-2 down in that series, and they probably would have won the 2018 title. They would have won that title because that was the year he was on the Rockets for 2 years. And then the other year they flamed out in the second round against the Warriors. I believe that was 2018. They were in the conference finals. And that totally sucked. And then Chris Paul, when he was with the Clippers, they're up 3-2 on the Thunder, and they have this horrible collapse. They would have won that series if they didn't collapse. Or they're about to go up 3-2, and then the Thunder went up 3-2, and then the Thunder and Durant and Westbrook closed them out in Game 6 in 2014. 2015, they're up 3-1 on the Rockets. And the Rockets win Game 5. And they were like, okay, force a Game 6. You think the Clippers are going to close out at home. They have a huge lead. Kevin McHale benches his players, like James Harden. Everybody's benched. And then the Rockets reserves come back against the Clippers and win Game 6. And then they go out and win Game 7. And then Chris Paul almost gets traded to the Lakers, and then the league vetoed the trade because it was the Lakers. And then the Pelicans, like, that was such a bad luck thing too. Or, I'm sorry, the Hornets at the time. Hurricane Katrina happens, and they're playing in Oklahoma City for a year. So poor Chris Paul, so much bad luck. He does not deserve this. If anybody, I know nobody deserves this, but Chris Paul's like the one guy to me that did not deserve this, like, of anybody. Because this was all set up for him. Anthony Davis gets hurt. I know that's a lucky break, but I don't know if they win that Lakers series if Anthony Davis doesn't get hurt. Maybe they still do. Who knows? Because even LeBron wasn't 100%. And that Lakers team, just something wasn't right with that team this year for whatever reason. So they catch a break there, and then Denver turns out to be somewhat fraudulent. They sweep them, and now they're going to end up with the Clippers or the Jazz in the conference finals. And now the winner of that series is thinking, oh, Chris Paul is out. Ooh, what a lucky break for us. And now that makes me feel so bad for Chris Paul. And it's true that the winner of Clippers Jazz is going to catch a lucky break. But maybe Chris won't be out for that long. And let's say so it was announced this morning. Today's Wednesday. The conference finals. So today's Game 5. Game 6 would be Friday night at Staples Center. If there's a Game 7, that'd be Sunday. If not, that'd be the start of the conference finals. So conference finals would start on Sunday or Tuesday. And then Tuesday would be the draft lottery too, by the way. Well, that's a big deal. This upcoming Tuesday's podcast is loaded, guys. I can't wait to do that one. But yeah, it's either going to be Sunday or Tuesday, the start of the West Final. So the best case scenario for the Suns is that Jazz Clippers go 7, The next series starts Tuesday, and maybe Chris Paul comes back for Game 3 of Clippers-Jazz winner against the Suns. So, Game 3 in theory would be Saturday if it were to be, if the conference finals were to start on Tuesday. And if conference finals were to start on Sunday, then Game 3 would be Thursday. And maybe they get lucky and Booker gets hot for a game, or Ayton puts up a double-double. I mean, the Suns, I think can still win a couple games without Chris Paul, but I don't think they can win a series without Chris Paul, is what I'm trying to say here. All right, we have a lot of other news and notes to talk about, but we had to get that out of the way because that is a huge deal. And now we're just going to rip through all of these. The Brooklyn Nets honored Marv Albert and gave the Hall of Fame broadcaster a custom jersey. That was really nice of them. He used to be their broadcaster after Marv was infamously fired from the Knicks in the mid-2000s. Jokic's brothers, during a scuffle, a new video emerges of the Nugget star's brothers courtside during a run-in with Devin Booker. Interesting. And there's a viral picture of Kawhi's poster. Sheesh. NBA Twitter is losing it after Clippers star dunked all over Derek Favors. And then, speaking of what I just talked about, Devin Booker, he's looking for that Suns fan on Twitter that went viral for fighting the Nuggets fans during Game 3. Some WNBA cool stuff. The 2021 All-Star Game is returning to Vegas and will be played July 14th. So that's pretty cool. Cristiano Ronaldo becomes Euro's top scorer ever after a penalty kick against Hungary. So that's pretty cool. So Eriksson got a positive update. The Denmark star posts players from hospital and says he's doing okay after suffering a cardiac arrest at Euro 2020. So that is good to see. Hopefully he continues to progress. Barry Trotz livid after no call as the Islanders coach went nuts on the bench after Tampa scored with too many men. There's 7 guys on the ice. On the effing goal. Semyon Varlamov injured after collision as he left Game 2 after the interference penalty, and Ilya Sorokin played the rest of the way. I'm not saying that they would have won the game if he didn't get hurt, but that is a pretty big injury for Varlamov. That could change the series potentially. And I thought Sorokin played well against the Penguins. I really think he did. And then they went to Varlamov for a couple games, and he stunk up the joint in Game 3, and then they went back to Sorokin Game 4. Rest is history, not series, but we'll see how Sorokin does if he gets some playing time here. I like him. He's really good. And he's obviously the goalie of their future, but I understand why they're playing Varlamov. I really do. It's because of experience. So, Oscar Lindblom won the Masterson Trophy, the Flyers forward, for perseverance and sportsmanship after overcoming cancer. So that's really, really neat. And it was good to see him come back and overcoming cancer. So good for him. Joel Embiid now eligible for the Supermax after making the All-NBA second team. And by the way, the All-NBA teams have come out, and I'm just going to say them on the air here on the podcast. The All-NBA teams. The first team, Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic. Second team, Damian Lillard, Chris Paul, Julius Randle, LeBron James, Joel Embiid. Third team, Kyrie Irving, Bradley Beal, Paul George, Jimmy Butler, Rudy Gobert. And then the all-defense came out as well. And that is. So the first team. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, Drew Holiday, Ben Simmons. Second team. Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid, Kawhi Leonard, and Matisse Thybulle. Matisse Thybulle, somebody I wouldn't have expected to make all defense before the season. Wow. So now Embiid's eligible for the 4-year, $191 million extension. So that's that'd be a risky thing for the Sixers to take on if he were to sign that because of his injury history. The Mavericks are worried that Luka may leave, was a report that came out from The Athletic, as Dallas was supposedly concerned about Doncic's rift with the front office members that could impact his desire to stay long term. And then, of course, Mark Cuban calls it out and says, that's untrue and all that, because you all know Mark Cuban. All right, the other big story in sports is the Major League Baseball substances memo being released, and the suspensions will be given out next week. I think there's going to be a lot of big names potentially. Garrett Cole, Max Scherzer, even Jacob deGrom. So I think there's going to be some big names potentially suspended for this. This could impact team seasons. The one that can't afford, Garrett Cole, I know the Yankees have underachieved. That's one, but if the Mets lose Jacob deGrom because of this, they're screwed, man. They've been winning because of Jacob deGrom. And because of their offense, but the biggest reason is deGrom. That's why deGrom right now is the NL MVP favorite, but, this is a huge deal. So, the memo was released. Ejections and suspensions for failed checks. Teams can't replace suspended players is two of the things. And then Trevor Bauer says in a tweet, save it with the competitive integrity bullshit, Major League Baseball. All you care is that the bottom line of the business. And then Carlos Rodon calls it out. This is going to be a messy situation. This is the biggest story in sports other than this Chris Paul thing that just came out. And then Rodon calls it out. 10-game suspensions for cheating, but you give the Astros no suspensions at all. That's fabulous. That's great. Oh, Carlos Rodon's great. That was the best comment yet. And Garrett Cole can't make a comment about that because he was on the Astros, so it's unfortunate for him. And it's unfortunate for some other former Astros as well, but that's a great comment by him. Kyrie Irving likely out for the series against the Bucks as the Nets are preparing for it. Team USA commitments, Damian Lillard, Draymond Green, Jason Tatum, and they're hopeful for Bradley Beal, which is good news. As some of the bigger names like no LeBron, no Kawhi potentially, no Durant. Luka's obviously not going to be a part of that team. He's going to be on another. He's obviously not going to be on Team USA as Luka will be playing for Slovenia, so they won't have Luka. Whoa! Here's more breaking news that just got wild. Kawhi Leonard is expected to miss Game 5 against the Jazz tonight with a right knee injury he suffered in Game 4. And his status for the rest of the series is in doubt as well. Oh my goodness. People are just going to be penciling in the Utah Jazz to the NBA Finals right now. Literally. Chris Paul has COVID, and Kawhi Leonard's going to miss the rest of this Jazz series. So, that is just wild news coming out of the gate. This is probably one of the crazier podcasts I've recorded with breaking news coming to you live. So, now that Jazz line just went up to 3. That line's going to be 6. So, new bet, Jazz -3 for that game. I'm picking the Jazz. So, no Chris Paul, no Kawhi Leonard. So, this NBA championship really is going to be defined by injuries. And, like, the Jazz, people are saying, oh, Jazz have a cakewalk to the finals. They could very well have a cakewalk to the finals. We'll just see how this all plays out. And now the favorite to win the championship, in my mind, has to be the Philadelphia 76ers. Has to be Philly. I mean, Embiid's healthy. That's literally the best healthy player left. So, to me, the favorite to win the championship right now has to be the Philadelphia 76ers. Who I believe was my pick to win the championship before the season. If not, they were at least my pick to win the East. Former Patriot Vince Wilfork's Super Bowl rings were apparently stolen as the ex-Patriot star's son, arrested for allegedly stealing his dad's 2 rings. That is wild. Jalen Ramsey is recruiting Stephon Gilmore amid Patriots cornerbacks contract dispute. The Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, calls out Le'Veon Bell. These fellas will blame everybody for their lack of success. Oof. And a big injury in Major League Baseball, a couple of them. Tyler Glasnow, UCL tear, and is hoping to avoid Tommy John surgery. And he has a flexor strain as well. And he rips Major League Baseball and says, I'm frustrated MLB doesn't understand. You can't just tell us to use nothing. So that is really, really wild. And that is obviously a big loss for the Tampa Bay Rays, the first place Tampa Bay Rays. Max Scherzer's on the injured list with a groin inflammation. Shane Bieber on the injured list with right shoulder strain. So that's 2 big-time aces out for their respective clubs. Here's good news for the Braves. Mike Soroka could return in August, as well as Travis d'Arnaud and Huascar Ynoa. So the Braves are just littered with injuries, sub 500. They're not having a good season at all. That was my pick to win the World Series. Yikes. And my American League pick, the Chicago White Sox, meanwhile, is doing awesome. Luis Severino, grade 2 groin strain, as his return is delayed at least a month after injuring his groin in a rehab start. That's not good for the Yankees. They're banking on him to come back and be a savior at this point. The New York Rangers have hired Gerard Gallant to be their new head coach. Good hire for the Rangers. They're showing a commitment to winning here, in my opinion. Gallant is somebody that obviously is known for getting teams to overachieve. He got the Panthers to overachieve and make the postseason in 2016. In 2018, he got the Vegas Golden Knights to overachieve to make the Stanley Cup final. And all this guy does is win. I don't understand why he was fired twice. I think it's because the Panthers and the Golden Knights had false hope. Or not false hope, but they had false hopes of doing better than they expected because of the overachievements from the past. And that's why he got fired twice. And he didn't deserve to be fired twice, in my opinion. I killed the Golden Knights for firing Gerard Gallant. I killed the Florida Panthers for firing Gerard Gallant. And I know I had the podcast at the time when Vegas fired Gallant, and I ripped Vegas for the firing. I know they weren't playing well. I know they probably had injuries and whatever at the time. And then obviously they hired Pete DeBoer, and they are where they are right now. But it's a good hire for the Rangers. I think that he'll get them to play up to the par. They should be a playoff team next season. I know their division gets a little bit weaker next year because the Bruins won't be in their division. Columbus is back in their division, who are going to be rebuilding. But the only thing that's against the Rangers here is that Carolina's back in the division. They're obviously awesome. And the Penguins are a team to me in decline, but might still be good. Same for Washington. The Islanders are in the conference finals, so they're not going anywhere. The Devils are rebuilding. So the Rangers, and obviously they have the wild card back. And that was also not in the Rangers' favor. If they had a normal playoff format, Eastern, Western conferences, the Rangers would have made the playoffs. They would have made the playoffs last year. David Quinn, I think, still probably would have gotten fired. Maybe, depending on how their playoffs played out. But I think this season, I know the Rangers had some turmoil off the ice. Combined with that and the bad luck they've had in terms of how the season played out with how the league formatted the playoffs and everything, I think bad luck also is what made the Rangers made all these moves. But I think it's the right call to fire David Quinn. To me, he just wasn't the right guy. They got swept by by the Hurricanes in the bubble last year. And that's really when the Rangers, I personally think, knew that this wasn't the guy. But I don't think they were ready to fire him yet because of the whole COVID thing. So, and I think he would have been fired in 2020 had COVID not happened, personally. And you could say that about a lot of people in sports. If it wasn't for the pandemic, that a lot of coaches in sports would have been would have been out of their jobs. I think David Quinn would have been fired 1 year sooner if this unfortunate pandemic didn't happen. And I think the pandemic saved his job for a year. And so I really think the Rangers were planning on doing the David Quinn firing, but just took 1 year of a delay. But that said, an excellent hire for the New York Rangers. NFL stuff real quick. Jamal Adams skipping minicamp and was excused for it for personal reasons amid rumors of contract dispute. Xavier Howard wants a new deal as he's unhappy with his current deal, which pays him $2 million less than his teammate Byron Jones. Sheldon Richardson and the Vikings are working on a reunion. Danielle Hunter and the Vikings redo their deal. So that situation is cleared up. We talked about Stephon Gilmore skipping minicamp. And then the Major League Baseball thing with the pitchers cheating. Dougie Hamilton could be moved. As the Hurricanes give permission to the defenseman to talk to other teams and could be open to a sign and trade. So that is very interesting. And then Trevor Lawrence to be held out of minicamp out of precaution due to hamstring tightness. And I want to see something here very quickly, because I don't want to misread things here. I thought for a second that it made I saw something that the Western Conference Finals was in jeopardy. But I think they meant Chris Paul's status, not the series in general. Alrighty, best bet of the day brought to you by DraftKings. It's Jazz -3, no Kawhi. Jazz at home. They're going to win by double digits. So give me the Jazz -3. I know that might be a sucker bet because and now it's off the board. So instead of that, it got taken off the board. Let's go under 12 Padres Rockies. That's too high of a number. Under 12 -114. I never like to do unders for best bet, so that's it. It would have been Jazz -3, but it got taken off the board. So under 12 between the Padres and the Rockies at -114 for best bet of the day. All right, I'll be back on Friday recapping everything from today and tomorrow, looking ahead to Friday and the weekend. Other news and notes. Best Bet, NASCAR golf as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.